Hi everyone, only 10 days to go until Christmas. So I thought I'd show you today an idea for making some homemade Christmas crackers. And I've dived into my stash and found this packet of silver foil patterns, which I believe is still available online. So I'll put the link up for that in the description of the video. They're really good papers because they're only printed on one side, so perfect for this kind of project. I have a wee get together coming up next week just before Christmas with a couple of girlfriends, so I thought it would be nice to make a couple of homemade Christmas crackers as a way of wrapping a small tube of hand cream, which will be nicer than some of the silly gifts that we get in the bought crackers, and also just a little bit more special for them. So I've made two, which you can see here, and I'm going to make the third one. There's only three of us, so I'll make the third one for you to see the process. So I'll just pop these to one side. And the third piece of paper I've chosen is this one with the stars on it. So the silver is a metallic foil and it just shines beautifully. So perfect for this project. And I'm going to team it up with some curling ribbon, which is red. And the gift I'm giving is a small tube of hand cream. So to start off with, we're going to trim this paper, which comes as 12 by 12. We're going to trim it to 8 by 12. So that's just putting it in the trimmer 8 inches and trimming off a little bit, which we can use later. Now this can be done with any paper that you have in your stash. So I haven't bought anything special for this project. It was just a matter of going through my drawer and finding something that would suit. Christmas papers perhaps you might have in your stash. So with one of them I have pinking sheared the edges, just with my pinking shears from the sewing cupboard. And with the other one I've used the silver metallic markers just to go around the edge. But I think with the stars I might just leave them blank and see how we look at the end. So the first thing we're going to do is use the scoring blade on our trimmer, which we just attach on here. We don't need the arm. And what we're going to do is score this beautiful paper at 3 inches from both sides. So this is going to help just bend it backwards so we can cut some diamonds to make it crease easier. We'll get rid of the trimmer. So using the Versamat now, what we're going to do is just use those scoring lines to fold back and make it nice and even. Okay, so now using just a pen, and I use the T-square, on both sides what we have to do is measure to make some little diamonds. So with it folded back like this, we're going to make triangles so that when we open it up they'll be diamonds when we cut out. So I found that it's best to come in about 1/2 inch. So we're just going to do a very light line down there. And then what I've also found is that if we come in on the Versamat using the inch line, so the bolder of the lines, to be a longer line, and then just marking the ones either side. So a longer one, short, short, a longer one, short, short, a longer one, short, short, longer one, short, short, a longer one, short, short, longer one, short, short, and then another short one there to finish off with. Now using our scissors, what we're going to do is just trim every short one, goes on an angle down to that line we made at 1/2 inch. So coming down in line here. Okay, so we're making some triangle shapes from this angle, but you can see that when we open it up, it's going to be a diamond shape. So I'll just go ahead and trim those on this side and then do the other. So you can see at the ends here we just end up with a angle at the side, so that looks good from that side. Then when we open it up, you'll see we've got diamonds. Okay, so we're going to take away the Versamat. On the multi-purpose mat, I'm going to run my tape runner down the side. Now the reason I've taken the Versamat out is that so that I can go directly on the edge of the cracker, and any excess sticky will go on the multi-purpose mat, which I can remove a lot easier than off the Versamat. Okay, so then we get our trusty toilet roll. Okay, so we can save those and use in here. Of course, I've got my gift. Every cracker needs a bit that cracks. So my shopping was a little bit late to get any that were brand new from the store. So what I found was a cheap packet of crackers that I've pulled apart. So that's given me the cracker part and the hat and the joke. So what animal needs oiling? Mice, because they squeak. Ha ha. No Christmas is the same without a joke. So we're going to thread these in here. Now the crackers I bought were a little bit long, so I'll just trim that a little bit. And then we're going to put the hand cream in, which just fits perfect size. And then we'll just squeeze the hat and the joke in on top of that. So a nice little parcel to receive. Now this is quite tricky because you don't want everything to fall out. So picking it up and rolling nice and evenly, we're going right to the end, making sure that we're rolling straight, and then we're in. So the next thing we need is a little bit of our curling ribbon. And you can use any colour you like. You might like everything all silver. Any colour scheme that suits your table. Now where the diamonds are is where it's going to just pinch in, and it will help it fold in a lot easier into a circle. And you do need to be careful that you don't tilt the cracker too much while you're doing this, because otherwise the insides will fall out. So we just come round, and I want the knotty piece on the top. So we just come in and just help it go in a little bit. There we go. And because it's curling ribbon, I can use the edge of my scissors to pretty that piece up a little bit. And the extra piece around this side. Now because the cardstock is just a little firmer than paper, is why those diamonds just make it that much easier to work with when you come to putting the ribbon around the cracker part. Okay, and there we are. Now what I have done too is just with a little bit of our corners off the insides of the shaker cards, just get a little piece here and just pop it underneath the cracker, the pull bit, so that it doesn't fall out. I only need it at one end, nothing else will fall out, so that now we're safe. So to make the card to go on top, I've been using the new tags that have come out, and I particularly like this shape. Now I did try doing it and tying a ribbon through it, but what I really like is having this little curly bit at both ends. So the next thing we're going to do is I'll show you how to do that on the little cuddle bug. And so when I put this through here, I'm only going to put it through far enough so that it gets that curly bit and doesn't go anywhere near the end. So there's no pressure on the little bit at the end that we don't want. And then we'll back out. Then what we're going to do is turn it around. So we need to also turn the plates around so that the next time we do exactly the same but at the other end. So putting the die back on top, we just line this bit up with the last curly bit, and you will actually feel the blades under here click into those lines that we've already cut. So keeping it there, placing the plate on top, we'll do the same thing again, just going through far enough to get that one end cut. Up, so again, see we've still got no pressure on that end. Coming back out backwards. And that's the shape we wanted. So because the candy apple is a little bit lighter than the ribbon that I've used on the cracker, I'm just going to blend a little bit of scarlet around the outside of what's going to be the tag. Now I'm also going to use the scarlet to stamp our greeting on it. I'll put the Versamat back in to do our stamping because it's always good to stamp on the back, on the sponge on the back of the Versamat. So the stamp we're using is the Magic of Christmas, and I really like the fact that the stamp itself is squarer on the sides, so that it will work well on our newly shaped tag. So we'll go straight in the middle. It's looking good. And remove the Versamat. So to finish it off with that little piece, I'm going to add some of the silver metallic marker. I'm just going to use my old ruler as a level for the paint. So these are actually paint, but it does come off the multi-purpose mat. So you can easily go over the edges knowing that you can tidy it up later. And then turning it around to do the other end. I always move the ruler along a little bit so that we don't get any extra bleed from the last time if it's still not quite dry on there. So that should be right. Along we go. And again, colouring the edges. And we'll just leave that to dry for a moment. The last little piece that we're going to do to finish it off is add a little bit of bling. You can never go wrong with bling. And this one seems to lend itself to having 3 little dots along the bottom. So I've placed the first one in the middle, and then I'll just go one either side. So placing that on our cracker, I'll just go back to the bigger screen. Again, I'm going to use some raised foam from the inside of the shaker piece, and I'd like to angle it so that when it's on the table the card is straight. So with that on an angle and the card straight, we need to go from top right to bottom left. So I'll just place one there, and one in the middle. And there we have 3 Christmas crackers ready for my day out.